Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Ganley. I'm running for United States Senate in the Republican primary. Can you hear me in the back? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Thank you for being here for America. You're really not here for candidates. You're here for America, and I want to thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a startling announcement for you. I am not a politician. I am a businessman. I have never been a politician. The reason that I'm running for this chair, this seat in Washington, is because I dislike politicians, and I dislike what's happening to our country right now. I only have 5 minutes, so I want to get right to my issues, if I may. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm for jobs. I've created thousands of jobs in Northern Ohio. I'm not just talking about it, I know how to do it. And because of the time constraints, I would invite you to go to tomganley.com. It's really important that you do that because I have a plan to create jobs. No one else has come forward with a plan. Also, as a businessman, I do not have the word deficit in my vocabulary. I started my company 42 years ago with 12 people and myself. Only one of those 12 people ever left in 42 years. Unfortunately, a few have passed away. Ladies and gentlemen, I've made a payroll every week for 42 years, and I know how to create jobs. And you don't create jobs with deficits. You create taxation with deficits, and we need to control the size of the federal government. Not control it, we need to cut it at least in half, and I know how to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm opposed to illegal immigration. We all got here, our ancestors, through legal immigration. I am adamantly opposed to illegal immigration. By last count, there is somewhere between 12 and 20 million illegals in this nation right now. My position is they need to go back where they came from. We support the law. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to tell you that I'm a social conservative and a fiscal conservative. I'm proud to tell you that I was one of the first people in the state of Ohio to get a concealed carry license. And that tells you where I stand on the Second Amendment. Ladies and gentlemen, it was brought to my attention over this campaign where folks said, okay, Ganley, when you get to Washington, you're going to drink the Kool-Aid or the water, and you're going to be subject to all the pressures that take place there. Well, I'm going to tell you why I'm not. First of all, my website will give it to you very clearly, but I'm going to tell you why I'm not, ladies and gentlemen. For 2 years, in a very covert capacity, I worked with the FBI in Northern Ohio to bring down the mafia. I risked my family's life and my children's life to do it. And it's very well detailed, and you'll find testimonials on my website from retired FBI agents right now. After 2 years, when these mafia guys were indicted, ladies and gentlemen, normally protecting federal witnesses is the job of the U.S. Marshal Service. But because of the life-threatening situation that we were in, the FBI and myself, we bonded. It was a great bond. And the FBI said, Tom Ganley, we're moving into your house with automatic weapons, M16s and Uzi machine guns. I rode in a bulletproof, bomb-resistant FBI car for another year with an FBI agent driving it and one in the back seat with an M16. Ladies and gentlemen, if I did not back down to the mafia, and I beat the mafia and lived to talk about it, if I did not back down to the mafia, don't think for 1 second that there's any special interest group in Washington that I will back down from. It simply will not happen. I'm going to take questions in a moment, but ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to share with you, please, rise up for Ohio, rise up for America, and rise up and defend our incredible Constitution. Thank you. I'm just going to take questions, so I don't have 5 minutes for questions. Okay. Questions?
Yes, sir. Mr. Ganley, what's your position on the Federal Reserve in returning the power of appointing the money and determining the value thereof back to the people as the Constitution gave it.
I will, when I swear to uphold the Constitution, I will, and the power comes back to the people. I'm absolutely in agreement with what you said.
Yes or no? Do you believe that labor unions within our government have more rights than the individual non-union worker?
Yes. He said yes or no. So I said,
I didn't hear the question.
do I believe that the unions have more power than the citizens of this country? Yes. Do I agree with it? No.
Okay, good intentions. Everybody always feels bad for people who don't have insurance and whatnot. You're a businessman. So when did it become business's responsibility to insure everyone, or the government's responsibility? And do you have a plan that's sensitive but realistic?
Yes, the plan is for the federal government to stay out of your health care and my health care. Yeah. If it's not good enough for the United States Senate and the House of Representatives, this health care that they're trying to foist upon all of us, then it's not good for us either.
It's not a plan. No, it's not a plan.
I only have a few minutes. Go to my website, you'll see my plan. I have a plan for it. And it's a good one. And most of it is to keep the government out of it. Next question. And I have a plan for jobs too, and I invite you to look at that. You're a good sport.
If we had a bill that said that healthcare companies had to sell to the individuals and healthcare was no longer provided by employers, would you vote for that?
Well, the first thing I'd have to do is read it. Today, I can promise you as a businessman, I have never signed a contract that I haven't read 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. I will read it and make a decision based on that. The concept of signing contracts, or bills in this case, that you haven't read doesn't work.
However, if that's all it said and nothing else, yes or no, would you vote for it?
Why don't you tell me you plan to get it decided?
If the bill simply stated, in so many words, that insurance companies now have to sell health care to individuals and that employers will no longer provide health care, it has to be paid for and purchased by the individual, would you vote for that, yes or no?
You know, that's a tough question. It's an interesting one. As an employer, I provide thousands of medical policies. I probably would not vote for that. Next question.
Anyone else have a question?
Ladies and gentlemen, in the absence of any questions, any further questions, thank you for listening to me. If you agree with me, I have petitions over here. Ryan has his hand up. I'd love to have you sign them. I'd love to have your support. TomGanley.com, petitions over there. Thank you for listening to me. It's been fun. You're a great way. There's a question.
Yes, what's your position on membership in the World Trade Organization and the United Nations?
I have a real problem with the United Nations right now, ladies and gentlemen. I have a serious problem with that. I think we have to, frankly, if I have to answer yes or no, you didn't ask me to do that. My position is that we've supported the United Nations long enough. It's time for them, I've got a little bit of time left, it's time for the United Nations to not look to the United States for all their funding. You know, it's absolutely time. If they need to move their building out of Manhattan, then they need to move it out of Manhattan. World Trade Organization. I'm for fair trade. I want to reestablish our manufacturing in this country. And the only way we do that is to be able to ship our goods overseas. So I want us to be able to do that. If we don't make anything in this country, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. Over the years, we've been in numerous wars, and who knows when the next one comes. Now, we're going to have to look to the Japanese and the Germans for our tanks and our airplanes? I say no, that we incentivize manufacturing to come back to this country and bring back the jobs from China and India and Korea.